And Woody likes the crooked cock.
Body lets off the trigger and just it hurt. It really hurt.
Yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah, but yeah, I never liked that because of the cheating, and then laser tag just never really works for real. But so paintball's always been my thing for sure.
So you mentioned a while ago about horses in movies charging into like foot soldiers and just wrecking them.
Mm-hmm.
I have my suspicions that in real life that's not cool at all, right? Like, picture I'm on a horse and you and your 100 people are on foot. I feel like I'd take out 2 or 3 guys as I plunge into the mass. And now I'm surrounded by people. My horse is freaked out. We're getting poked at with swords and spears. You're just going to your death, right?
No, those guys were like the height of military technology of their time. Like they're covered in armor. The horse has got a lot of armor, and the guys they're attacking are those foot soldiers. There weren't a lot of professional armies back then. A lot of times it's just some bunch of assholes out there, and he's just swinging that sword. And if he's a knight, like an actual knight, it's like the Spartan story we always hear. It's like Athenian. What is your profession? I'm a potter. And then he looks back, Spartans, what is your profession? And then, haru, haru, haru. It's like the guy on that horse, like that's all he's up to. It's just like Game of Thrones. The most realistic part is probably that those noble born people like Jon Snow, they've just been training with a master of arms their whole life. So when he gets up north of the wall and he's like going ham on everybody, and the main guy's like, he probably didn't have a master of arms when he was 8. That's the first time he's ever picked up a sword, John. Maybe slow down. And John's like, fuck. I guess you're right. Shit, am I the asshole? It's like, yeah, you are. So I think
it's like if John showed up in like the pottery house and was trying to do it, and he's like, "Get it better, retard! Why can't you do it, retard, idiot, dummy? I wouldn't serve my dog milk out of that jar. Spill all out over the place."
Yeah, but you're right. You're crashing into that line of people, which probably isn't that thick. The line of people
depends on the line too, right? Because that's the problem. You get 4, 8 people deep, and now you're surrounded, and you've got an issue.
Yeah, it depends. A lot of those. Every time we see one of those battles in a movie, it seems like it's like 20,000 versus 10,000. But I think in reality, it was, a lot of those battles was like, the English have 3,000 men and the Scottish have brought 1,800. It's like, well, how? And by the time they spread the lines out and they've got, it's just a few thick. All that weight going that fast, it would be a crushing blow. I'm scared of horses. I've been around horses. They're frighteningly powerful when they're just like moving around you. Just like, I hope he doesn't decide to murder me right now. He can.
What was that clip of like the camel, like just biting some guy's shoulder once and just throwing him over?
I love that clip.
Ease, just like, get the hell out of here, dude. Just like bit his trap muscle off and threw him. Yeah, camels are powerful.
Are there any good UFC events coming up?
Max Holloway and Amanda Nunes are on like the next card.
My money's on Holloway. He's going to beat the shit out of her.
Unfortunately, they're not fighting. Each other.
There's Kuznetsov versus Hall.
You just made that up.
I'm just using hockey players' names. Dude, Dreisaitl versus fucking Agostino. Tell me you're not excited about that. Those names I almost made up.
I wanted to look up some like famous cavalry charges. With sabers drawn, about 600 Italian cavalrymen yelled out their traditional battle cry, "Savoir!"
Mozzarella!
and galloped headlong toward 2,000 Soviet foot soldiers armed with machine guns and mortars. It was August 23rd, 1942. The cavalrymen, part of the Axis invasion of the Soviet Union during World War II, were attempting to close a gap that had been opened between the Italian and German armies along the Don River. It was to be the end of an era. Though experts believe that smaller and less well-documented cavalry charges likely occurred later on in World War II and possibly as late as 1970s in Rhodesia. They generally describe this as the last major charge in history. In closely packed formation, the Italian cavalrymen hurled themselves at the left flank and rear of the Soviet line, tossing hand grenades and slashing with their sabers. Despite heavy losses, they then passed through the line in a reverse direction and helped dislodge the Soviets from their position.
That's really cool.
They won.
They won?
Yeah, that's a win.
Wow.
The final U.S. charge took place in the Philippines in 42 when the pistol-wielding horsemen of the 26th Cavalry Regiment temporarily scattered the Japanese. Soon after, however, the starving U.S. and Filipino soldiers were forced to eat their own horses. So that ended the 26th Cavalry's charging days. They ate their fucking
Should have
horses.
ended the story on the Italian victory.
Yeah, probably should have. Probably should have.
Yeah, man, imagine how upsetting it has to be one of those guys where you're like, are you shitting me? Like, I'm a tank guy. You want me to hop on the back of this horse and charge in with a saber? I'm going to get molested over there. Especially with those Russians. They're tough. They don't live on the Mediterranean and engage in mafia shit the way we do.
That's that's the whole premise of that movie, We Were Soldiers, with Mel Gibson, is like that was the first time the cavalry had transitioned, post World War II into the sort of the air cavalry. Yeah. That's a good fucking movie.
Yes.
When he tries to drag that guy off the battlefield and the guy's been napalmed and all the meat slides off his legs like a fucking barbecue rib.
Uh-huh.
Ooh. You don't heal from that.
No.
I forget which one it was. I think it was his like gunny sergeant, like his second. He didn't have a gun. And they're like, don't you want a gun? And he's like, they're going to be all over the place in no time at all. Fuck.
Like, if they get to me, it's over anyway. He just had that pistol. He had that 1911. That guy's a good actor.
Pick up a gun and use it? I thought
yeah, at one point, like he was like, if I must, and, like kills a guy. Yeah, it's a good fucking movie. Mel Gibson movies are almost always good. What's the worst Mel Gibson movie?
Passion of the Christ.
Oh no.
I just said that. I haven't actually even seen it.
It's powerful. Like you don't have to be religious to be like, fuck, just kill him or let him go. Pick one. Pick one. They're just like, all right, now let's whip him even harder. I was whipping as hard as I could, sir. Well, give me a bigger man and a bigger whip too. And they just all day they're just beating the shit out of this guy. Just worse and worse. And he's just like, bring it on.
I watched recently the South Park from when The Passion of the Christ came out.
Oh god.
And Cartman uses it to like try and get Nazis going again.
Oh god.
Like,